Welcome to the PhoneWORD Forum. It is Wednesday, March the 25th, 2015. My name is Jay Carpenter. I'm the moderator of the PhoneWORD Forum. And today we have an open session. It's 4 p.m. Eastern Time, and the PhoneWORD Forums are held on the final Wednesday of every month at 4 p.m. Eastern Time. So welcome. Thank you for tuning in or watching the recording today. And today we're just going to look at about 3 or 4 topics of interest and sort of summarize where things are at. I have it that we're in a bit of a transition period, and the direction for the industry as well as various initiatives, I think, should take a little better shape in the next coming months. So I'm going to switch over to the screencast and our screen share and just kind of look at the topic set for the PhoneWORD Forum today. So you should be able to see that. And basically, some of the things that have happened since our last PhoneWORD Forum is the Open Internet ruling was handed down by the Federal Communications Commission. Last month we had a great talk on blockchain as well as cryptocurrency, specifically Bitcoin, with Dr. Robin Hanson and Andreas Antonopoulos, who's the author of Mastering Bitcoin by O'Reilly. If you haven't seen that, I'd highly recommend that you take a look at that session. I thought it came together very well. The stated topic for that session was network security from market approaches. And we did talk about that in some degree. However, we also talked about where things stand with blockchain as well as cryptocurrencies and what some of the opportunity sets are. The other thing that's happening is right now there's a meeting taking place in Texas by the Internet Engineering Task Force Modern Group talking about numbering initiatives, and there's been some information coming out from that, and we'll talk about that a little bit today. But basically I'm going to scroll down. If you haven't looked at some of our prior topics, here's the last one, Robin Hanson and Andreas Antonopoulos. And we talked about blockchain technology. We had an open session year-end recap. We had Jaromir Talir of CZ.NIC talk about the free registry for enum and domains, Fred. That was, I thought that was a really good session. We had Henning Schultz-Rennie join us for that. And then prior to that, we had some funding open source collaborative development thoughts and a session on that. Then in September, we had Martin Geddes and Hank Holquist talk about fit for purpose broadband, which was actually some of the topics and areas of interest for this open internet initiative, and also for toll-free broadband. So if you haven't had a chance to take a look at that session, I highly recommend it. We had some great conversation about what has transpired in the open internet ruling, and I think some very key thoughts and observations that are certainly applicable today. We had an off-the-record conversation, open conversation, and then prior to that, we had the SMS 800 Board of Director candidates. That election happened. We've talked about WebRTC, and we've talked about dialable rich media with in the past, as well as the FCC numbering testbed workshop that was launched about a year ago. In fact, today is the anniversary for the numbering testbed workshop. Hadn't realized that. So another good session. And I won't go any farther back in time. However, you can take a look and see some of the topics and some of the items we've covered on the PhoneWord forum. So this is the session from last month, February 25th, with Robin Hansen and Andreas Antonopoulos. And if you haven't had a chance to take a look at that, I recommend it. We had a great conversation, and I think we really opened up some interesting opportunity sets out of that conversation. So going back to the topics for today, the Open Internet ruling happened, and basically the FCC has laid down some specific rules regarding prioritization, paid prioritization of traffic on the internet, and that impacts toll-free data, in my view. In fact, it has, I would say, a rather chilling impact on the prospect for toll-free data, because not only is the notion behind toll-free data supposed to be toll-free data, but also the notion was that businesses and companies that wanted to get their message out could also offer a higher premium quality connection. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with the FCC and the Open Internet rule. I have read that the first volley of lawsuits has been filed. I think it was yesterday or today. So it looks like there'll be a long litigation battle over this. However, in the PhoneWord forum area of interest, the key point about the Open Internet rules is, at least and I haven't read it, I haven't read the entire 300 and some odd pages of the ruling, and a lot of the ruling is, I would say, more like guidelines rather than strict hard and fast rules. There's a lot that's subject to interpretation around this, and I guess experience. But the bottom line from the PhoneWord forum context and the PhoneWord enterprise is that the pathway to usher in toll-free data and enable what looks like legacy toll-free numbering to be the highlighted addressing scheme for toll-free data, that looks like it's had a pretty substantial roadblock put in its place. So again, I don't know. It'll be interesting to see how things turn out. But what we've discussed on the PhoneWord forum in the past about creating a new addressing scheme that looks and somewhat operates like legacy toll-free telephone numbers, it looks like that is going to be difficult to happen, at least through the conventional means, anytime in the near future. So while legacy toll-free telephone numbers continue to be, let's say, taken from the spare pool in rather large numbers, the underlying use case, I would say the future potential for toll-free telephone numbers and toll-free telephone number-like addressing, I would say this Open Internet rule has had a, looks like it's going to put a very chilling impact on the path for toll-free telephone number-like addresses. Blockchain, which has been discussed here on the PhoneWord forum, primarily since the end of last year, last 3-4 months. That's something that I still am very, very optimistic about. I think the blockchain technology has a huge opportunity set and it's something that I am still getting my arms around in terms of how it works, how it might be put up in a test bed application, and how a registry or registry set of functionality might be incorporated with the blockchain. But part of this, let's say, pivot in the path for a test bed and creating a test bed with next generation naming, addressing, and numbering, part of what's going on, at least in the realm of PhoneWord, is looking at how can this blockchain technology be incorporated from day one. So the other thing that's going on is the Internet Engineering Task Force is having a meeting in Texas today, and there's been a bunch of topics that have been floated on their mailing list. You can apply to be included on the mailing list, and just Google IETF MODERN, and that should be able to find a way to apply to be included on the mailing list. However, from what I'm reading, it looks like there is a lot of fundamental conversation going on about the direction of that group, and it'll be interesting to see what happens if they can produce a charter and if they can come to some sort of consensus on the direction they're going to take with their efforts for transitioning from the legacy public switch telephone network into an all IP addressing environment. And we will see. The other topic that I didn't include on this list is security. And I think there are some key developments that are happening in the realm of security. And as high a priority as security was leading up to this point, I think the priority for security is moving into a whole new realm. So it's quite possible that in upcoming PhoneWord forums, we'll be talking about security in greater depth and elaborating on last month's topic of market methods and initiatives and approaches to network security. So that's about all that I have for today. And I'm going to switch off of, oh, before I leave this slide, I will mention that the upcoming PhoneWord Forum will be held at 4 p.m. on the last Wednesday of April, which is April 29th. There will also be some PhoneWord workshops on April the 8th at 5 p.m. Eastern and April the 15th at 11 a.m. Eastern. The April 15th PhoneWord workshops, which is a sister organization, that we're gearing up to focus on the AT&T WebRTC application programming interface. So that's the intention, is to have a hands-on workshop on April the 15th with the AT&T WebRTC application programming interface. So that's pretty much it for today's PhoneWord Forum. I'm going to stop sharing, and I will get back into the Google Hangout. So thank you for your time and attention. Please feel free to contact me, Jay Carpenter, if you have any suggestions or comments for upcoming PhoneWord forums. We do plan to emphasize and focus on blockchain technology as well as possibly cryptocurrencies going forward, and see how that might be incorporated into test beds, test mechanisms, and eventual product rollouts. So thank you very much for attending. Thank you for your attention, and I look forward to your participation in the future. Have a great day.